You are listening to the Baby You've Got This podcast, where you receive mindset and business coaching designed for the everyday gal who has big goals and dreams and is craving that guidance, insight, and reaffirmation for creating more success in their life. This is episode number 23, and I am talking money, baby. Yep, that's right. The thing we all have our own love-hate relationship with, the thing that we can find to be so damn controlling of us, and the thing we almost always want more of. I personally have been following the wealth principles for over 12 months now, and they have made an enormous difference to my life, to my bank account, to my self-worth, and the money that I attract in. I'm going to explain what they are and also give you my top tips for being the best damn manager of your own money you can be. This podcast is brought to you by Abundance Club, an exclusive online membership to a 16-week holistic health and mindset coaching program. Abundance Club supports, educates, and empowers its members with their self-love, mental health, happiness, nutrition, and exercise. You can learn more about Abundance Club by checking out the website, which is www.abundanceclub.net. Just a reminder to hit subscribe so you are always in the loop when a new episode drops. I am so grateful that I can give you this time and content as you listen in today, and remember to leave a heart-filled review and 5 sparkly stars if you are listening through iTunes, or leave your love-filled comments in the comment section below. By this process, you are contributing to a bigger vision and impact of inspiring and helping women just like you to grow their success and to up-level their mindset. Don't forget to leave your Instagram handle in your review so I can give you a shout out on our social media platform. I'm on our Instagram and recognize you for your greatness too. All right, let's get started. Let's talk money, baby. Money, money, money. I feel like I need to cue that ABBA song right now. So it's actually been, I haven't done a solo podcast episode for 3 episodes or 3 weeks now. So the last 3 weeks I've been interviewing, which has been amazing, but I'm actually really excited for it just to be me talking to you guys today, because I did a vote on my social media out of 4 topics actually, like what would you guys love to hear more of? And it was between wealth principles and improving your money mindset, which obviously took the cake today. We have boosted your immunity naturally, how our best tips for working from home, and of course I can't remember the last one that I asked everyone about, because that's just how I roll. I like to forget things. That's not good. Overcoming anxiety. That's what I knew it had to do with mindset. Okay, so overcoming anxiety. All right, so what I am actually going to do, because the wealth principles topic actually got the most votes, but all the other 3 came in equal second. So over the next 4 weeks, including this week, or over the next 4 episodes, I'm actually going to talk about each of those things. So wealth principles, overcoming anxiety, boosting your immunity naturally, which will be really good now that we're coming into winter. Well, we are, in the southern hemisphere we are. And the working from home tips, because so many people have transitioned to working from home through this pandemic, and I've been working from home for 6 years now, so I've got it pretty down packed. So I've got some really good tips for you. Anyway, today is all about wealth principles. So, wealth principles, what are they? Money, what is it? Well, we know what money is. Money makes the world go round, right? I seriously can talk all day about money. The money is the main trigger for my lifelong suffering of anxiety and poor mental health. It's the main trigger, not a total trigger. So it is something in the last couple of years that I have really had to work on, my relationship with money, my self-worth. I really had to grow and build and evolve that relationship, because it was not serving me. My money story before today was not serving me at all, and yeah, it just was crippling me. It made me, like, the anxiety made me so sick, and we all know that, right? When we don't have the money we need, we feel stressed, our self-worth is low, our self-esteem is low, The more we stress, the more sick we get, and we just feel like shit is not happening for us. So I feel you. If you're feeling me, then you're listening to the right episode. And you know what? Our relationship with money is always constantly evolving, and that's one thing I learned is I've always been that person. I used to be that person that would just wait. Like one day the money will turn up. One day I'll have the savings in the bank account, and I'd be waiting. And the reality is, unless you do something about it, it's never going to come to you. You have to do the work, and we hear this all the time. So, yes, what I'm actually going to teach you is a system that I implemented, the Wealth Principles system that I implemented, that by physically implementing something to organize and manage my money has actually made such a significant impact in my self-worth, my energy and relationship around money, and my ability to attract money in. So I'm a realist, right? I want to be real with you. We see all these people, these manifestation, like money manifestation, money attracting coaches and all this stuff out there. And they talk about it. They talk about you can manifest money, you can attract more abundance, you can do this and that. But sometimes, like I find, unless you go pay hundreds of thousands, maybe not hundreds of thousands of dollars, but you spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on their courses, they don't actually teach you the what or the how to. They just teach you the knowing side, like be aware of this. It's like, cool, I'll be aware of that I need to grow my self-worth, but how the fuck do I actually do that, right? So one of the things I learned, and I love this, is your net worth and your self-worth are exactly the same thing. Your net worth is just a physical, so your net worth, the amount of money you have in your bank, is just a physical representation of your self-worth, which is an energy. And money is energy anyway, so they're exactly the same thing. Now, money mindset. I'll talk a little bit about this, and then obviously I'll get into the wealth principles, but your relationship with money will determine how much money you have. I grew up thinking money is the root of all evil, money doesn't grow on trees, you have to slave away and work your ass off to earn money. Like my parents, bless their souls, their money story, they just duplicated down to me, right? So I was given these stories and beliefs that money, like, I'm not worthy of it. It doesn't just appear. Money's really hard to get. And I really had to spend some time telling these stories to F off and create new stories. So the how-to on that, guys, is how to create a different story. Like you literally get your journal out, start writing down everything that comes to your head about money, everything positive and negative. It doesn't just have to be negative. It's just the negative ones that are the stories and beliefs that are holding you back right now with how much money you want to bring into your life. And write them all down and just thank yourself and like for acknowledging these thoughts and acknowledge them and own the fact that, you know what, I had these, and look at them on physical paper. So it's like you're trying to take them out of your head and onto the paper and thank them and then forgive them and let them go. You can even tear it up and burn them and burn some incense and do a little moon dance if you like as well. Time it with the full moon. That will be very powerful. So you got to change your story, and I had to learn to love money. And now I have people in my life that, geez, Kim, you seem to just love money. You talk about money a lot. And I'm like, you know what? Because I love it. I love money. If I didn't talk about it and didn't focus on it, and it was one of my goals to have more of, to grow my savings, to grow my income, and I didn't talk about it, how the hell am I going to like declare it and manifest it and bring it in and put energy into it? So you've got to love money. So you've got to start practicing like, what can money do for you? What are the benefits of money? If you don't know what the benefits of money are for you, why would you be sent more or be given more? Because money is an energy. Money. Oh my God, I just made up a word. Your money. Well, that's your money energy. Should we roll with that, or is that weird? Your money. No, it sounds a bit dodgy actually. So I should just breathe because I'm not breathing as I talk to you, but I'm just so passionate about this. Sometimes I do wonder if I could be a money coach and help people at least get to the stage where I'm at with my savings from where I've come from being in debt living paycheck to paycheck, never having any money to my name. So, okay, I'm on a tangent. What you want to do is you want to be able to list the benefits of money. So money, not only like, not even just it puts a roof over my head, it puts food in my fridge. Like money is a benefit because it allows me to buy my fruits and vegetables that nourish my body every single day. Money allows me to pay my rent, that lets me have a safe home to sleep in, to dress in, to eat in, to entertain in, to spend time in, right? See how specific it is? So you've got to really list the specificness, the specific benefits of what money is. So a little activity you can do is write out 100 benefits of money, but you don't have to do it all at once. You could do 10 each day for 10 days, but you've got to do it every single day in a row. You can't miss a day or you've got to start again. You can do 5 a day for 20 days. And what you will find is the first 15 to 20 will be all the obvious ones. And then you're going to hit a wall. And then you're going to have to break through the wall and keep pushing and get really damn specific. So by your 100th reason or benefit of money, it is so damn specific, but it's in line with what you would want that money to do. Like, for example, the benefit of money, it allows me, like, here we go, I've just got health on my mind. It allows me to pay for private health insurance so I can have my maternity cover, and I need that to be on my insurance for the next 12 months before I can have a baby and claim it, right? Because I'm pretty sure, I know in Australia, you have to have private health cover, a hospital cover for 12 months before you can claim the maternity cover. So can you see how specific that is? And that could be specific to your goal. Obviously, if you have no plans on having babies or you've had all your babies, that probably wouldn't be a goal for you because you won't need it anymore. Or maybe you have had a baby and you can write that down because that's what it allowed, it had created for you. It allowed that to happen for you. Money allowed that for you, if that's how you say it. So it's a really cool exercise. I know I talked really fast through this. The benefit of this is you can literally rewind and listen to that again. So I've done this exercise and it was really tough because it pushed me to think, because if you can't, as I said, if you cannot say what a benefit of money is, you're not going to be given it. Like the people, the rich and wealthy in this world, if you ask them what's the benefit of money, they could list off 100 things without even thinking about it, without even having to think about it, because that's why they have money, because it's already been allocated. They know what they need it for, right? And have you noticed that even no matter where you are in your life right now, even if you feel like you're struggling to pay the bills or whatnot, at the end of the day, they do get paid. The money does come, even if it just scrapes in. So you will always get given what you need, the basics of what you need. So what we have to do is we have to raise the demand on what we believe we need. So changing our wants to a need. Like you might want to travel to a tropical island every month for 12 months, but you feel like you don't need it in your life. So if you don't feel like you need it, you're not demanding it, you're not going to be given it. But if you make it a demand, like you need to travel once a month to a tropical island for 12 months because that is going to grow you as a person and it's going to create more happiness and abundance in your life, and it's going to give you the experiences you know you need to feel fulfilled. It is now a need, a necessity. You're putting that demand out there. The supply has to come. You will make it happen. So that's a little about the law of supply and demand, which I'm not really going to go into. Actually, I think what I can do is I will do another episode. I've talked about it in one of the previous episodes. I can't remember what number it is, but if you look through it, it actually says it in the title. But I'll talk a bit more about it, because you managing money and bringing money and attracting money into your life is literally based on the universal law of supply and demand. You can look it up on Google and learn more about it. But the supply is the money. When you focus on the demand, the supply comes. When you focus on the supply, you will literally stress yourself out and it won't come. So let's get into wealth principles. The universe will never give you more until you've learned to handle what you already have. When I understood this, like once it took me a bit to get, but I finally got it, and it makes so much sense because then I totally just mind blanked, of course. What am I saying? Oh my God. Okay, the universe will never give you more of what you have if you haven't learned to handle what you've already got. So this isn't just money. This is everything in your life. This is to do with everything. Handle what you have. You've shown up and proven that you can get more. You've earned the right to have more. So the simplest place to start is managing your money, because money is a form of energy. So when you apply the wealth principles, when you follow the wealth principles and you organize your money in this way, you are showing that no matter how little or a lot money that you earn or you have in your life or you bring in, whatever it is, if you can manage that, you are showing the universe that you can then handle more. So the wealth principles are a set of, this is how I look at it anyway, they're a set of percentages that you set up to allocate your money. So when you receive your income, you allocate it, and there's a certain system you follow, certain step by step, I'm going to go through that, you follow. And why am I keeping on mental blanking today? I'm talking about my favorite topic. Anyway, anyway, I'm going to go through it. So yeah, it shows you've got to allocate your money. Your money needs to be allocated. If it's not allocated, something will come up and allocate it for you. Have you ever noticed that you've had times where you have actually, I'll give you the perfect example. I ran a couple of years ago a health program called Your Best Body Challenge, and the challenge prize winner, the winner would receive a $2,000 cash prize. When I transferred it to the winner, she was like, oh my gosh, this came at the perfect time. My car just broke down and my bill is $2,000. This happened the exact same week as she won the money, and then 2 days later, her car broke down. So because she had manifested something, she had an influx of money coming in, but because she hadn't had a perfect handle and organization of her other finances, something came up for this money to be allocated to. And the reason I can say this is because she made a point of like, oh, I'm so broke. I really needed this. I didn't know where I was going to get the money from. People who manage their money and organize their money have everything allocated. So there is an account for your car. And I can tell you right now that if you have an account that you put a bit of money in for your car, when you have the money there and it's covering what your car needs, like your service, your fuel, whatever else, I'm not much of a car person, that's pretty much, your Red Joe, your insurance. If you're allocating money to that, you're less likely to manifest a breakdown or a crash because you have been organized to where your money's going. Hopefully that's making sense to you. It makes sense to me. So, in other words, have a think about like, when have you you may have got a pay rise or may have got a bonus or got some money for your birthday, and this random bills come, or you got a flat tire and you had to buy a new tire, or your car broke down. God, the car's a good one, isn't it? Or you've gone over your phone bill and all this data has racked up, or whatever it is. Like, I know I've been there. Oh, you've got a speeding fine. That's usually my one. I got a bonus last year and I got a speeding fine to the exact same amount. And I was like, what a coincidence. It was a time where I kind of went a bit loose on my wealth principles because I wanted to I literally spent money I didn't have and waited for money to come back in. So I know you all understand that there's times when if you're not managing what you have and you get given a little bit more and you have to spend it straight away. Okay, I'm going to move on before I ramble too much. So pretty much you need to allocate your money. Money always needs to be allocated. One of the things you can't do, and I tell you right now, do not have a bank account that says emergency or have an emergency savings. If you have an emergency savings, and so many of us just put money away just for an emergency, you will attract an emergency situation in your life to spend that money. So, and another thing is we all have a glass ceiling, no matter where we are. Our self-worth, no matter how big or small it is capped at a level. So you might be a person who you can save. Actually, I have a friend who every time she hits the $8,000 in her savings, she will attract a bill. The car breaks down, the dog, like the most recent one was the dog got sick and needed an operation. And what's happening is she's hitting her cap, her wall, but she's not managing her money properly and not following a system. So when she starts to hit that glass ceiling and wants to break through it, something happens to pull her back down. So I'm hoping, let me know when you share this post, or jump in the comments, or jump across to our Instagram and comment, or send us a message and let me know if you can relate to any of this, because I swear my whole life, until I realized what that meant, I was like, oh my God, this happens to me all the time. So ever since I've been following, when I follow the wealth principles properly, this doesn't happen. If anything, I attract more money in and more bonuses and gifts and all this stuff. People want to pay for my lunch or my coffee, whatever it might be, because I've already handled what I've got. The universe is giving me more. So the wealth principles. So what you do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a brief rundown, and it's because it's a bit of a process. Don't expect, unless you're like a super freak genius when it comes to money and organizing and all that stuff, which amazing. Give me your talents, please. You might find that this one, like just hearing what I'm going to share with you, you might need to listen to it over quite a few times, but I'm going to give you the basics because it can take a while. Like I'm always tweaking my principles anyway. They're always shifting and changing just slightly. And it is a process to get used to and find out what works for you and your budget and your lifestyle. So what you want to do first is, so first of all, what we're going to be doing and what I'm going to be explaining to you is the principles are, there's a certain structure that you allocate your money when you get paid, certain ways, certain things you need to pay first, and that creates the flow. So wealth principles remove the emotion around money, and it's really important, especially in times like these where people are losing their jobs, things are changing, in a crisis, in a pandemic, and the people who I know, including myself, who do follow these wealth principles are less emotional about money and about the future than the people who haven't managed their money and are living paycheck to paycheck, and things have just had a big curveball thrown at them. So I learned the wealth principles through the MJB Seminars crew. They are amazing. I'm going to tag them in the show notes. They are these beautiful, amazing coaches, life coach. Well, they're not really life coaches. They're more than that. They coach you with everything to live an inspired life. And one of the things they do is help you transform your wealth. So I'm going to plug this here first before we get stuck into it, because they actually have a program, and I've done this program. It's an online program. They also do seminars, but obviously right now we can't do events during COVID lockdown. So it's all online. It's a variety of videos that take you through a step-by-step process to literally transform your wealth and implement the wealth principles, break through your limiting self-worth beliefs, and start managing your money and reducing and removing the emotion around money, so you can start actually having a savings account and attracting more money in. So what I'm going to briefly teach you, because there's a lot to it, they take you through an in-depth process, and I'm going to drop a link in the show notes. So please follow that link. So on iTunes or on YouTube, however you're listening, in the notes description section, there is a link, and it's a Transform Your Wealth link. And what they've done is they've given me a link because I am one of their favorite customers. Well, that's what I tell myself anyway. I'm one of their best customers. They've given me a link that I can share with you guys that actually allows you to purchase the Transform Your Wealth online program at a discounted price of only $59. It used to be $127. So what's that? That's more than half price. So right now it's $59 it's no time like right now to really start getting a handle on your money. And honestly, you do not want to look back in 12 months time and wish you started using applying these wealth principles, learning how to do it, getting the education then right now. So I will put that link in there so you can get that at the sale price. So $59 for you to literally learn how to set up wealth principles that are going to help you manage your money and organize your money for the rest of your life. I think that's so cool. So go over there and check out that link, and you can register join their program there. Okay, what are the wealth principles? So first thing that you are going to need to do, and this part is the tedious part, but you've got to do it. And if managing your money is important to you and applying the wealth principles are important to you, you will do it. If you're happy living paycheck to paycheck and having stress and emotion around money, then you won't do it. That's just the reality. So you want to print out the last 12 months from today, or when you sit down and do it, from the day you sit down and do it, from today, the last 12 months of bank statements. If you have more than one bank, print them all, get them all out, and you go through it and you categorize where all your money's going. So I did all my house bills, food, going out, clothing, holidaying, like everything. You've got to allocate it all and see where your money's going. And look, I spent, in that 12 months I did it, $6,000 on clothes. I was like, what the fuck? I didn't even realize. Hubby and I had spent $9,000 for the year on alcohol and going out to bars and whatnot for a drink. And it was really eye-opening because we realized that's where our money was going. And we're like, oh my God. And then obviously all the other living expenses, travel, whatever it is, your money, like you need to go do this and see where your money's going, because when you don't know where your money's 100% going every time you get paid, you'll be surprised of how much you spend on that coffee here and this there. And when I realized that, it made me conscious of how much I was spending, which allowed me now to be like, it allows me to make smarter choices going forward, because I would much rather not spend $6,000 on my clothes. Imagine if I saved that $6,000, or imagine if I only spent $2,000 for the year on clothes and had $4,000 in my savings from that. Like, to me, that's huge. So that's what I had to go do. So you got to go and work out where you've spent all your money and categorize it. The next thing you do, and obviously then now you've got your categories, and then you can add up what your income was for the last 12 months, so the money coming in, and you should see that it should pretty much all add up. And if there is a difference, it is either you've got a debt on the credit card because you've overspent more than you've earned, or you have money sitting in your savings. So the savings, count that as what you've like spent your money on because you've spent it into your savings account. So then it should match up. But don't get too caught up if it matches up or not. The idea is to see, this is where my money's going, because that's how we're going to set up your principles. So what the principles, what there is, so you have your income that comes in. The first thing you must do with once you've worked out where all your money's going, and then you can work out, let's just backtrack. So say your rent is $20,000 for the year. So you know you need to, for your yearly budget, you need to put $20,000 towards rent. You know that you spent $5,000 for the year on food and groceries. So you've got to make sure we're going to allocate each pay a percentage that works towards that $5,000 for the year. Travel, entertainment, because what you can see is you can see where you can cut down if you want more savings, and then you can see where your money needs to go, so you're prepared when you get paid of how much you need to have where, and it's not just by week basis. Then we get out a piece of paper, and the first thing you must do when you send money, where the first thing you do with your money when it hits your bank account, you must pay yourself save. You have to save first. Your savings is your self-worth. And a lot of us have a savings account, but we add it up, we have just one. And we save up, maybe we're saving for a car. And then once we buy the car, we start the savings again, and we save for a house or a travel experience or whatnot. This savings is pay yourself save. This is a do not touch account. You are not allowed to touch this money. It is there for if you were to lose your job. and you've got money. It's the idea is to take away the emotion. So you know in worst case scenario times, you have money sitting there. But the idea is not to touch it. And this is the money that you can invest, but you've got to earn the right to invest. So a little tip here is you want your do not touch account to equal when you can earn the right to invest it, to grow it, is when it hits 3 months worth of your normal income. So if you earn $5,000 a month for your income, once your do not touch hits 15 grand, any money, that's your buffer. You don't want it to get below 15 grand, but it's there. So it's 3 months worth of wages if anything was to happen and you lost your job and you couldn't get a job and you really needed money. But anything beyond that 15 grand, you can look at investing. If that's, you can leave it in your savings account, or you can, if you want to invest it into an asset, not a liability. So obviously it can grow more. So that's a hot tip there. You must pay yourself save first. You have to do it because that is your self-worth. You are more important than any bill. No matter how much bills or debts or commitments that you have, you must send your money, because it is just energy, to yourself first. It's so important. I used to pay my bills first, so I was making the bills more important than me. No wonder my self-worth was low. I made everything else I need to pay for more important than me. You are the most important thing, and you need to get that. And if you don't get that, you will never grow your self-worth, and that is the reality. It's a harsh reality, but it comes down to you. Is this what you want? Do you want more self-worth? Do you want to earn more income? Do you want to have more abundance in your life? Do you want to have a bigger sense of wealth? Do you want to have more choices? This is what you have to do. You must put into your savings, do not touch first. Then the next lot of money you transfer is into your own personal pay yourself spend account. Even if you are scraping income-wise, you must have a percentage of your pay, even if it's 0.5 of a percentage, that you pay yourself, even if it's just enough that it buys you a cup of coffee or something that you love, that maybe you can save it up for a little bit, but it must be spent. So say, at the end of the month, you'll get about $20 in there because that's all you can afford, but that will buy something you just love, to get a pedicure, or you'll go buy a piece of clothing, or whatever it might be. You've got to spend on yourself, and it is guilt-free. And that is also growing your self-worth, because out of all the money you're earning, like, yes, we earn money to pay the bills to live, but we're also earning money so we can, reward ourselves. You have to reward yourself. Then the next thing you do is you've got to pay your tax. You have to pay tax. If you're on a wage and the tax is already taken out, then that's fine. If you are self-employed, you earn profits, or you're contracted, you must pay tax. You must put away for tax. The government, you cannot fudge the government. Your taxpayer money does benefit you no matter what. There is Medicare, and all the other stuff that the government money does provide. So you have to pay your tax. You can't fudge the system. You've got to show your gratitude with your tax. Then it's tithing. So donating, giving away. When you can show that you can give more than what you need, the more you give, the more you receive back. It can be $1, it can be 1% of your income, it can be small, it can be big. Like, it is up to you, but you want to be able to give away a little bit. Tax, tithing, rent or mortgage. Then you pay your home. Then the last thing you pay is your bills. So then you put the last bit of your income into your bills account. Now, if you want to be saving for a holiday, a gifts account, an entertainment account, you and your partner, or just you love to go out to festivals or go to the movies or go out for dinner, you want to put an account aside. I personally call mine living. We have a living account. So we only, when we're not in lockdown, we only would go to a music festival or go stay at a hotel to celebrate something or go out for dinner if we have money in that account. If we don't, then we don't go, because this is what people do, and this is what we used to do. We'd pull it from savings, or we'd pull it from somewhere for that instant gratification, and we wondered why our money would never grow. Our savings would never grow. So all those in between, like living, travel, gifts, Christmas, I have a Christmas account that I put a little bit into, so when Christmas comes, I have the money sitting there. These are the little accounts you have in between your rent and your bills when you structure the payment, like when you allocate your money. Now you're probably thinking, oh my God, Kim, there's so many accounts. Because yes, you want to have a savings account, a spendings account, your bills account, your travel savings, your gifts, whatever the different accounts are, you want to have them set up. NAB, I like NAB, there's no fees, and you can have as many online banks or normal bank accounts with a card that you like. You do set it up, because when it's in different bank accounts, it's all allocated. You can see it all easily, and you know what's what. Can you see how I can't go into too much depth because every person is different? You might have a business and you might need to pay wages, so that's an account as well. Like this is why if you do the Transform Your Wealth course, it breaks it all down for you, very specific to each individual. So this is where I just want to get you aware of this so you can start becoming conscious of where your money's going. So that's kind of how the flow you need to do it. But if you can just do one thing right now, is whenever you get your money and you have to allocate your income, send to your savings first. Bills are paid last. Separate your money out to wherever it needs to be. Open the accounts up, takes like 5 minutes, and then send the money where it needs to be. So you know that's like your budget, right? Usually we budget out and we write it on a spreadsheet or a piece of paper. So this is you actually putting it into accounts, and they're sitting in the accounts waiting for when they need to be spent there. So this is how you can tell, like when you've worked out your last 12 months of spendings, you know you had $5,000 going to food. So say your yearly, just to make it easy, say your yearly income's $50,000 and you spend $5,000 on food. That's 10% of your yearly income that you spend on food. So that's 10%, your income for the week. That makes it about $1,000 a week. Let's just roll with whatever it is for the week, the income amount. 10% of that is going to go into your food account. Usually we go food shopping once a fortnight, most people. So by that fortnight, you've got money in there, and that's what your food account is. So you don't go buy ridiculous groceries that you don't need. You have your food money there. It's all allocated. So don't forget, when you first start this, things need to be tweaked. For the first few months, hubby and I, we realized we didn't have enough money going into our food account and our fuel account. I think we were a bit we were trying to be quite high achievers, and we had a high percentage in our savings. And what we found is we're putting too much in our savings, our do not touch, and not leaving enough for living. And then that stressed us out. So we had to reduce how much we were saving so we can actually afford to live. So another hot tip is your savings, your do not spend, cannot exceed, when you first get started, cannot exceed 10% of your income, because it makes too much emotion. If you earn $1,000 a week, but $100 a week is too much to put into your do not touch account, the $900 that's left just won't stretch across your commitments and your living, then you don't do 10%. You can start it at 1%. You can start small, because the idea is it's going to compound and keep growing and growing. But the principle is, it doesn't matter about the number at all. People, you can do this if you earn $200 a week. You can earn this if you do this if you earn $2,000 a week. It's all about the principle, and it's where the money gets sent. Because when you're showing that you're organized, you're going to attract more in. So that's pretty as much. That's as much as I'm going to share with you, because we're at 40 minutes already, and I know it's a lot to take in, and you've got to keep listening to it. Reach out and talk to me. I can help you one-on-one and give you some tips. But you just start with work out what you already be spending your money on. Where is your money going? Work out how much you want to save. If you're already saving, perfect. Make sure you pay yourself. Make sure you put the money there first. Make sure you allocate yourself a little bit of money to reward yourself, your spendings, and then your bills. Money in your bills go last. Whether you need to, like I changed around all my bills, so my direct debits come out after I've been paid, so they can wait. As long as they get their money, they're happy. You are in control. You have to make this work for you. So I feel like I can just, there's so much to teach on this. I love it. You really got to look at that Transform Your Wealth program, that online program. It's so good. $59, guys, seriously. go to the link in the show notes. You have to check it out. It's going to do a much better job than me rambling on about this. But you just pay your savings first, then pay yourself as a treat, and then make sure you spend it on yourself. Even if both you can only afford, you do not touch, and you're treating yourself as 1% of your income each paycheck, that's totally fine. And then the principles are the rest of them are all worked out as percentages. So when you get paid, say you get $1,000 a week, you know that you might have 10% or maybe 5% goes into savings. That's what you can do without getting emotional. 5% is your own spendings, 10% is food, 20% is your mortgage or rent, your tax. You might already come, like if it's a wage, you've already paid tax, so that's fine. You might be able to tithe, you might only be able to give away and donate 1%, and then you might be wanting to save for a travel trip, and you need by that, you want to be saving up for the year 10 grand, so that's 20%. Your bills might work out to 20%. I'm not sure what number I'm up to, but by the end of it, everything's allocated to 100%, and that's what your income for that week is. So you're not left with anything in your income account. And it's really smart. And when hubby and I started doing this, we noticed that people would cover our food when we went out. We had the money there because we allocated it, but people would cover it. They'd be like, no worries, you get the next round, or you get it next time. I would go to meetings and people would cover my coffee. And I'm like, are you sure? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, thank you. And you transfer what you save into your savings, right? It's crazy, but our electricity and our gas bill reduced. Just little things like happens. Like I've won things. I've received one thing I did. I got that HelloFresh, the food delivery. Like I've received multiple free boxes, claim a free box for that. So that's $100 of a week's worth of food. You just notice that more things come to you, and my income's grown, and I've received bonuses in my business. Like the people in my team who work with me in my team, the ones who follow this notice that they attract more customers, they attract more business, and they attract more income, and their income grows. So it works. It works. The most wealthiest people, everyone who's wealthy and earns a lot of money and has a big business that's successful, they all follow a certain set of principles. So everything is allocated and managed. And it's really important that no matter where you are right now, with how much you earn, that you've got to organize. You've got to organize and allocate and manage what you already have to prove to yourself that you can handle more. And that's the baseline. That's what it comes down to. So I'm going to leave it there. I feel like I can talk for ages on this. It's a long episode. If you have any questions, please reach out and ask. Please don't hold back. If you want help, if you want to learn how you can actually grow, like create another income from home, this is what I help coach women with. This is why I bring women into my business, and I help them create more money from home and teach them how to allocate it as well, and give them that empowerment to help grow their self-worth. So if this is you and this is something you want help with, you've got to reach out. You can find me on Instagram, and you can contact me through the Abundance Club website. I am there. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to help, and I can't wait. I actually can't wait. So I'm going to wrap it up. I'm rambling. Thank you so much for listening into this episode. It's a full-on one. Listen to it as much as you need to. You are worthy of this information, and it's now up to you what you want to do with it. How are you going to show up? How are you going to use this to your benefit? How are you going to work on this? So in 12 months' time, you can have that 6, 10, 20 grand in your savings account, right there, that you've saved up little step by little step, that you may not have had it if you didn't do these principles and implemented these into your life. So you are amazing. I hope you have the most amazing rest of your day. Thank you so much. I forgot to welcome any new listeners. I know we've had an influx of new listeners. This is definitely one of the more in-depth, full-on topics. I hope you loved it, and I'll chat to you soon. Peace out, homies.